And now let's dive into functions. All right. Let me just copy this. Sorry. Functions. All right. So functions are basically a block of code that does one thing. Like we said, when we're starting out, we talked about why we no longer use var. So it starts to make sense when you start thinking about things like function. So when we talk about function, it's just a group of code that does one thing. Now, if it does more than one thing, it's no longer makes sense to be called a function. It becomes important that you separate it. All right. So let's build a function. So the regular function is the old way of writing function up until we now had the new way, which is arrow functions. All right. So for you to do this, you do a function. So for example, let's say we want to do an addition function. So addition like that. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. It will take in as many parameters as you would like. So we'll just pass in A and B like that, and then we now open curly brace. Then inside of it, we'll now do a return. We'll now return A plus B. Now, up until now, I've been using console.log, but when you are doing a block of function, or you intend to build a real world application, you rather use return in most places to return the value that you require. All right. Now that we've done this, the other cool thing about function is when you set out parameters like this, it's like you're giving somebody a blank check to write whatever they want and get a particular value. So as it stands now, we can pass in anything we want, two things that we want into the function, and we'll get a particular feedback. So let's do console.log, and then let's call the function addition function. And let's pass in 2, 4. So basically what this will do is to add 2 plus 4, and we should get 6. So let's see, and we get that 6. If we change these values and say we put 30 plus 40 and try to run this, then we should get 70. All right. We could also add, another parameter here, just so you know that it doesn't have to be just 2 parameters, right? So if we could add another one here, and then let's add a third parameter here, and let's add another 30. So this should give us 100. So let's try that, and we have that 100 there. So awesome. This is how we write a function in JavaScript. But we also have the arrow function that we talked about. So let's convert what we have here to an arrow function. So for you to convert this, you start with a const and you do the same addition. All right, and you say this is equal to, of course, an arrow function. So you pass in A, B, A, B, and C, A, B, and C like that. And then we now use the arrow like so, and then return the same thing. Return A plus B plus C. Now, this is the right way that you should be writing your function. This has better integrity than the first one. That's what you really need to know. It is, of course, less buggy than the first one. There is more scope. There's more scope. How would I put it? There is more scope code or scoped code with a const. An arrow function. I think I'm messing all of that up. All right. So let's make this 2 addition 2, so that we can call the 2 functions conveniently. So let's pass in 2. So this is the regular function, and for this is the arrow function. So we just run both of them, and we should still get 100 for both of them. If we change this last one and maybe make it a 50, then we should still get our 120 correctly. So that is it. This is how you can write a function. Now, this does not have to be just addition. It could just be anything at all that you can think about. So you could also think about passing in, say, text here. So I could choose to pass my name. So let's do Njoko. And let's pass in maybe a space here, and then let's pass in my my first name, like that, and then let's save it. So when you save it, you notice that we have Njoku Samson. So we have three things combined here. There's Njoku, there's a space, and there is Samson. You see, it doesn't have to be just numbers. This can just be anything at all. But basically, I just understand that functions are a block of code that does one thing. Now that does it for us with function.